Tauwha, greetings. My name is Vic Tamati, and just want to share about Safe Man, Safe Family. Safe Man, Safe Family is an organisation that I put together after years of doing stopping violence programs and not having anyone to share with, no men that I can go to or no groups. I used to go to the AA meetings, but I didn't like the AA meetings because it was just they just smoke and drink coffee all the time, and I didn't drink coffee, and I didn't like the smoke in the room, and so I tried to find where these other men were who were shitheads like me. So went to the group in 1992, came out of that group at the end of that year, and there was no support for me, and kept thinking, where do I find these men? How do I find them? So this year I went and put together my own organisation called Safe Man, Safe Family, because I believe that if the man's safe, the family's safe, and if there be no perpetrators, there'll be no victims. And the organisation is to find men like me and provide programs, provide support, provide time out, and to provide a safe place, almost like an oasis or refuge for men like us, where we can go to, where we can shoot the breeze and offload and unload all the shit that's going on, and in a safe environment. And that way we leave the home safe. The women and the children are still there, but we can continually go to a place where we can get help. So I've just set that up this year, and hoping that we can get other men on board, other men who have been there, done that, done a program, come out successfully completing the program. But the main criteria is that that they're supported by their families to go through this journey, and it's an impossible journey to go through on your own, without the family support. And that house, that whare, along with having other men who have been through it like me, is kind of like the two most important ingredients in that mix. Because you know that if you're going to hook up with your old mates, you're just going to do what you've always done, and then you're always going to get what you've always got, so you're going to head back down that road. So for me, it's about having these supportive men around to help get you through these hard times. Society tells us that using violence or the use of what is actually normal, and it's portrayed in everything, on the news media, war stories, talking about the anti-smacking bill, it's all focused on that, that all this stuff was normal, it's normalised. So for us to go and say to a man, it's not okay now, it's not normal, that goes against everything that you've grown up with, that your father has taught you, that's come from your grandfather, that's come from the history books. And so it's kind of like a real history, mind, cultural, society shift to say, no, that ain't fucking normal. It's not normal to go and bash somebody, and that somebody happens to be your wife, your partner, your brothers and sisters, your mum, your dad, your children. That's actually not normal. It's not normal to stare them down, or to spit on them, or call them names, or withhold emotions from them, love and hugs and stuff. That's not right. So it's going to take probably a shitload of generations before it gets through that this stuff is not, but we've got to start. And I think we have to have our own models here in Aotearoa. We can't keep borrowing stuff from overseas to make it our own. We have to grow some homegrown stuff that's going to work for us. And I believe men like me standing up and saying that it's not okay. Don't have to go on TV, just do it in your own home, with your own family, with your extended family, with your mates, is the way that we're going to make a big difference. There's nothing like it. I don't know if there's anything like it in anywhere. The only place I've found that's the closest to it is here in Gisborne, Tawafi program that's run with Tim Marshall and the boys down there, where it's open door policy where men can just come in. You don't have to be referred by the courts or the police. You can just walk up and find a safe place, space and time where you can share about what's really hurting you without you getting put down by anybody. One of the issues for me has always been that when the police arrive on a family violence or domestic violence incident, they bring in all the players, all the services, and they arrest him. You know, he's off to jail or off to the cells for the night or given a PSO order, and they take the woman and children away to a refuge. And I don't believe that. I believe that if he's the perpetrator, absolutely get him out of the picture. But part of my thing is that you leave the women and children intact in the home so that things can remain as normal as possible, and all the things that are normal to them carry on except for the perpetrator. And if it's a him, then he comes to our place before he gets charged, or if they serve him with a PSO order for like 3 days, then he has to come to our place for 3 days. And that's when the process of getting and gaining help starts. Not 3 months down the track when the judge orders you to go to a stopping violence program, but right here and now. And that way the continuity of a normal life starts for the women and the babies, and the healing process hopefully will start with him, the perpetrator, at that point. In 2006, at the end of 2006, 2007, after I come back from Australia, I got rung up by a complete stranger who belonged to some video company, advertising company, and wanting me to do an ad for TV. And I was really fucked off with him because I wanted to know how he got my number, and tried to pressure him into telling me how he got my number, and he kept telling me that he was just given a list of names to contact. So eventually we said, yes, we'll do this ad as be part of the It's Not Okay campaign ads for TV, as long as they asked all my family, my wife, my children, brothers and sisters, because they were the ones that I did a lot of the violence to. And that happened. We ended up on TV, did the ads with 3 others, Alfred, George and Brian. And then after that, they asked me to go and do speaking engagements. Checked back in with my family again, and they said, yeah, go and do it. And I asked my daughter why, and she said, because no one's doing it. And I was like, oh. When I thought about that, I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. I've already got a job. I'll just do it part-time for the campaign. So I did it part-time for the campaign, but it became full-time because they had me travelling all up and crisscrossing the country. And so it interfered with my other job. So I ended up after 6 months quitting that job and then doing the campaign full-time in 2007. Well, since 2007 until today, there's still only one. There's still only me. So that's like 5 years later, and there are men out there that can do this role. I've seen them, I've heard them present and tell their story, share their story, and make people aware of where they've been, what they've done, and where they are today. But we just can't seem to find the money to employ them or contract them to do what I'm doing. So for the last 5 years, I've been floating around the country on my own, almost 24/7, going to different places. when we first started the campaign, they were crisscrossing me daily across the North Island, and I asked them to put that on hold and just send me to one place for a week. That way I can do some really good work, stay there, not be, different motels every day. So that's where we are now. I've got that process all sorted, but still don't have the men. But they're there. These men in Huntly that want to do this Te Awa Mutu, up in the Ruakaka, up north, guys out of the gangs, who want to be promoting the family violence is not okay message, but it's not your traditional worker, if you like. Just about every one of us has got a conviction of some sort. Some of them serious, some of them not so serious, most of them for family violence. And so it's, for me, it makes them the expert in the area because they've been there, they've done that, they've made the changes. They've been clean now for 10 years plus from family violence, drugs, alcohol, and now they've wised up and ready to help other people. But the system don't allow them to work in this kind of like social service area industry. If they wanted to find out more, they can go to the Are You OK website, which is the MSD, Ministry of Social Development awareness campaign, the Are You OK campaign, or they can go on Facebook, and that's where they can find me and our organisation called Safe Man, Safe Family. Yeah. I come back here every month. I'm currently employed under the Family Works, Presbyterian Social Services, and so I live in Auckland. I travel the country, but I come here every month to do supervision and catch up with the team.